In this video, we're gonna get North County, San Diego explained for you, let you know everything you need to know. From where is North County, San Diego, what's considered coastal, what's considered inland, where are some spots I got to check out, what are some things I need to know, what is the school situation, what cities are included in North County, San Diego, just so that as you're exploring, as you're figuring out which city you want to move to, is San Diego even the right move for you? You're going to know everything you need to know about North County, San Diego. And as you're watching this video, if you got some more questions, drop some comments below, or feel free to reach out if you are thinking about moving out here and buying a house out here in San Diego. I'm Chris Erickson, and we are the Livin in San Diego crew, and we got your back when making the move here to San Diego. So feel free to call, text, or email. We'll hop on a Zoom call, get you dialed in, get all your questions answered, and make sure you are ready for the move, and kind of go over some of the stuff we went through today, but really dive into what you're looking for and figure out which area is going to work best for you. So starting at square one, where is North County, San Diego? Now, San Diego is huge, all right? You're flying into downtown San Diego. You have all the deserts out here. You have East County, San Diego. You have South Bay. You have the metro area. But North County, San Diego, how we talk about it when you are watching our videos, this is what we consider North County, San Diego. So going from this little line right here is the 56 freeway, going from the coast inland to about Poway, going up along here, Escondido, Valley Center, cutting across. Right up here is like the Fallbrook area, going back down to Oceanside and all the way down the coast here. And so there's a lot of cities involved here in North County, San Diego. A lot of the ones that we cover that we have a ton of videos on are Encinitas, you have Carlsbad, you have Oceanside, and these are a lot of the areas that people are reaching out here who want to move out here. Solana Beach, Del Mar, Rancho Santa Fe. So Rancho Santa Fe is kind of its own jam, but it's still within the North County corridor. You have San Marcos up here to the north. You have Vista. And up here you have Bonzel, which we don't cover a ton. It's just a smaller community, but let us know if you guys want us to cover Bonzel. We did actually get a shout out to cover Bonzel and Fallbrook and a few other rural areas, so maybe we'll have to make that video. You have Fallbrook out there. Valley Center is a ways out there, so it's kind of right on the cusp of being North County, San Diego. You have Escondido. As you get down here, Poway, even though it does go a little bit further east. Now zooming in a little bit, here's the cutoff that we mentioned, the 56 freeway going across there. And right in the middle, you see Carmel Valley. It kind of goes up and around down here. So I guess you consider half of Carmel Valley in North County, San Diego, but we kind of consider it its own little thing. It's off the 56 freeway. You also have Rancho Penasquitos, which is going to be North County, Torrey Highlands, a few other areas in this central area here. So where is coastal versus inland? It's a good question because a lot of people moving out here are like, I want to live in coastal North County, San Diego. So we're going to draw the line. Okay, so starting up here, right up here is Camp Pendleton. So this is the big military base. So unless you're moving out here for the military, you are going to be living south of that. Right here, as we're starting in Oceanside, I'm cutting Oceanside basically in half right now. As we go down, if you go on the west side of this line, it's going to be a little bit more coastal. As you get into Loma Alta, you have Fire Mountain here, you have South O, you also have kind of like the downtown area of Oceanside. Once you get out here, you're looking at Rancho del Oro. There's a few different areas a little further to the east. You have Arrowwood out there. Continuing on down, we're going to include all of Carlsbad here and go all the way down to where you connect with Encinitas. Now, this isn't exact, but Carlsbad is divided into 4 different zip codes where you have 92008, you have 92010, you have 92011, and this is La Costa. We do have a lot of people reaching out for La Costa. And then you have like the Aviar area, 92011. And now all of these areas are going to be considered coastal area. Now Vista back here, I didn't put it into the coastal region, even though some parts of Vista, as you get up here, as you get down here, are going to be even closer to the beach, but they just don't have that coastal feel like the Carlsbad does. Just growing up, when you think of Vista, you don't really think a coastal community, but even though, just keep that on your radar. If you are thinking of moving here, you're gonna get some more bang for your buck in Vista, but I'm not considering it in the coastal corridor right here. As you go further down, now we're into Encinitas here, and Encinitas actually goes back a little bit this way over here. And you can see I'm kind of going around Rancho Santa Fe because I'm not gonna consider it too coastal. Now, you are pretty close to the ocean here. There's no main roads. You have a few ways to get out to Solana Beach, to Del Mar, to Encinitas, etc. But it's a little bit more of that equestrian feeling out there. It's a little bit more rural out there. Now you are about 15 minutes or so, depending on where you are. Rancho Santa Fe is pretty big, but depending on where you are, you're about 15 minutes or so from the coast. As we go down here, we're getting into Solana Beach and then Del Mar, and that's where we're gonna end it right there. So even though Carmel Valley is like right in this little section here, I'm not considering that coastal either. We're having the cutoff right at Del Mar. Now, one of the biggest things about coastal versus inland, now this line is gonna be a little bit straighter, is how hot it gets. So as you get further inland here, as you start going into the eastern parts of Vista. Now Vista as a whole, it's actually a pretty nice climate. You are tucked in front of these hills here. So there's a foothills area of Vista back here. You have some hills back here. You're not really tucked behind there. As you get into this corridor of San Marcos and going into Escondido, you have some hills back here. You have a big hill right in this central section here. So sometimes it does block some of those coastal breezes. So definitely Escondido is gonna get warmer. Valley Center for sure is gonna get a bit warmer. Lake San Marcos, you're kind of right on the border of being in that coastal zone and the inland zone. But all these coastal cities, Oceanside, Carlsbad, Encinitas, Solana Beach, Del Mar, there's another one right here called Cardiff as well. All those are definitely going to have coastal feel. It's going to be a little bit cooler during the summer times, a little bit cooler at a lot of times actually. And just for a little reference, I was up here in San Marcos the other day. We came back home to go to the beach. Over here in San Marcos, it was pretty nice. It was very warm. The kids were swimming. It was a gorgeous day. It was probably in the mid 70s. Let's call it 75. As we made our way back home, back to the beach, it definitely got significantly cooler. I'm gonna say by the time we clocked in the beach, it was about 67 degrees. And that's what you'll find a lot of times. That's the biggest difference between the coastal zones and the inland zones. Now we're gonna get into 5 things you gotta know about North County, San Diego. Some of these might affect where you're gonna live. Some of these might affect where you're going to hang out. So first thing, as we go into here, you're gonna start seeing it pop up just to the north, just to the east of Legoland. This is Palomar Airport. Now, Palomar Airport is not a huge airport. You're not getting big commercial liners. You're getting a lot of commuter planes. They do actually, I just saw they are flying to Vegas from here now. But the biggest thing about Livin right here is that it is in the landing zone. So here's the airport right here. They're usually taking off this way. So anywhere in kind of this section of Aviara, there's some condos and townhomes over here. Now over here, not too much. You do have Terramar up here, but then it's like Legoland, you have the crossings, but all this area back here as well, going all the way into San Marcos, you're gonna be in the airport zone. So what does that mean? It just means you're gonna have planes flying over. Like I said, they're not huge planes, but it might be a little louder. You're definitely gonna hear them throughout the day. If you've seen our videos, you've probably heard them in the past because sometimes we're filming in these areas and it's just like, well, that's what it is. You get to hear these planes cruising over. So this is one area that does have that. One other noise related thing, if you're living in North County, San Diego, is since Camp Pendleton is right up here, they do have training going on lots of times throughout the week, throughout the weekend, whatever it be, throughout the night, where depending on where you're living, obviously if you're living in Ivy Ranch, Rancho del Oro, that kind of area, or Oceanside, or certain parts of Carlsbad, even going into Encinitas. I mean, I used to hear it when I was living down in Pacific Beach, but they have training. So you're gonna hear like big old bombs going off, and it's just kind of like this boom, like a big percussive sound. And it's the further south you go, the more in the background it kind of is. You can just hear it, but definitely in these northern sections, you might be able to feel it a little bit. Maybe if your window shakes a little bit, definitely if you get closer and closer to Camp Pendleton. But they do put out warnings to let you know when they're doing it, what times they're doing it, all that kind of stuff. But you will hear that as well in a lot of parts of North County. Next up, let's talk the beaches. So if you're going to the beaches here in San Diego, here in North County, San Diego, there's going to be, I'm not going to say limited options, but your options are going to be more limited than all of the coastline you see right here. So as you go in here, let's just start at Terramar because it's kind of the beginning of it. You're going to see bluffs. So as you go to the northern part of Carlsbad, nice and flat. As you start getting in here, you're going to start seeing bluffs. And so while there are surf breaks in here, there's cool little places to hang out. There's some stairs coming down at certain places. Most of the hanging out, you're not going to be hanging out down here in these parts of the beaches. So a lot of times you're down here, it does open up a little bit more as you go further south, as you get into the campgrounds here. And then as you get to South Ponto, let me cruise on down there, you get even more going into this area of Encinitas. You'll see northern Encinitas, this is Leucadia up here. You'll see just more bluffs. So just going to be limited access. Like I said, there's going to be big access points where you have parking lots. So this is Ponto right here. You do have big areas of beaches. You can park right here almost on the sand. So you will find those. But as you get further south, Encinitas, Solana Beach, Del Mar, all of those places are going to have these big bluffs that definitely during high tides, the water goes all the way up to the cliffs here at some points. And the beaches are very minimal. A lot of times these are all like rocks and stuff. So it's not like ideal for hanging out. Now there's going to be some entrances here and there. Like I said, there's going to be those surf breaks, but there's going to be also the main access points of like Moonlight Beach, right? Where everybody knows about, everywhere it goes. That's where it gets crowded. Now you're going to find your own little spots as you're living here. You're going to go explore. We ran into clients as we're out there filming at different spots because they just moved in. They decided like, hey, let's go explore a little bit and found their cool little spots. But, you know, the main spots, Moonlight Beach, Fletcher Cove. Now, as we look south, Cardiff does, once you get past Swami's right here and going into the other campgrounds right here, there's a nice big run of beach where it's open, where it comes out from the lagoon here. It dumps out right here, and then you have a nice big flat. There's a big parking lot at the south end, but as you look all the way down here, going down, it's a lot of bluffs. So as you get maybe into Oceanside, it has big stretches of beach. You got the harbor up there. You have Carlsbad with certain big stretches of beach, but as you go further south than that, it gets a little bit cliffy. All right, next thing you gotta know as we're zooming out from the beach is we're gonna look inland a little bit. You can see back in the background here, all these hills. As you go a little bit further out, you can't really tell, obviously. I'll bring in some drone footage right now to show you some of the hills. But as you're looking into Carlsbad, as you're looking into San Marcos, certain areas of San Marcos, San Alejo Hills up here, as you're looking into other areas, Encinitas has some bluffs, some topography. There's a lot of areas that are elevated or down or, you know, different elevations. So you do have a lot of options for views. And that's why I mentioned in previous videos, if you're looking at homes with specific like lot sizes, because you want that space, you want, you know, of that kind of area, it might be a little bit difficult because some of these places, maybe it's a smaller lot size or the lot size is going down a hill. So it looks like a bigger lot, but potentially there's nobody behind you. So it feels more open. So it's really dependent on house to house and figuring out, is this gonna work for you? Even though this lot size might be a little bit smaller, but is the house gonna work where you do have views and it feels like you do have a bigger lot? Another thing to know here in San Diego is we do have some areas, some rural areas and some semi-rural areas. As we're zooming out here, basically as you get to the eastern portion of Oceanside here, you're going to get into Bonsall, you're going to get into Fallbrook up here, definitely Valley Center. All of these areas are going to be rural, semi-rural areas. Definitely parts of Vista here as well, like the foothills, where you aren't really like in the suburbs. You are potentially a little bit more spread out. Now, all of these areas, yes, you're going to have different areas that are a little bit tighter, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, once you get back there, I mean, there's still some farmland back here. There's still some big open spaces. So you don't necessarily think of San Diego as having some rural areas or semi-rural areas, but we definitely do have that as an option. There's also some of that, like I mentioned, in Vista. There's also going to be, if on the higher price points, Rancho Santa Fe. It's all kind of this like that. There's definitely some equestrian properties out there, which are pretty rad. You have some space out there. The lots are like 2-acre minimums in a lot of spaces. Down here in Livin, you're going to find some of that out in Elfin Forest. So even sometimes in this central area of North County, San Diego, you'll definitely find some rural living as well. And then how about how we getting around San Diego? How we getting around North County, San Diego? Well, the main thoroughfares are going to be north and south, the 5 freeway going up the coast. You have the 15 freeway going inland. Those are going to be your main north to south corridors. You do have the 78 freeway going through Vista and San Marcos. You have the 56 starting almost at the coast and going through to Poway. So those are like your main ones. The 76, yes, it is a freeway. It does have lights on it, so you're going to be stopping at some points, but as you go further north, that's another good corridor to go through. Now, all this center section is going to be a lot of side roads, which we mentioned a lot of times in the past, but there's some main thoroughfares here. You do have El Camino Real, which goes all the way through Encinitas. It goes all the way up through Carlsbad, through Oceanside. Right down here, you do have Palomar Airport Road starting at the coast, going in through San Marcos. You do have Oceanside Boulevard right up here to the north that goes pretty darn deep into Oceanside and into Vista. Down to the south, you do have Del Dios Highway, which goes out here past through Rancho Santa Fe up into Escondido. So there's a few different paths you can take to get around. Like I said, the Palomar Airport Road. As we're a little bit wider shot, we have El Camino Real here. We do have Del Dios Highway coming right in through here, which leads you, like I said, you can cut in through a bunch of different areas over there. But as you get acclimated, you're going to find your own little side roads and ways to get around. And now we're going to get into some top spots to explore. These are going to be either shopping spots or a place to grab a beer or lunch or somewhere just to check out, where it's going to put you in some of these communities. And as you're going to there, you could kind of get a feel for the area. You could kind of get an idea of what the houses are like in those areas as you're driving to these places. So depending on what city you're looking in, what area you're looking in, if I didn't cover it on here, either drop us a comment, or we do have relocation guides, or we do have local area guides that you can download and check out a few of these areas on your own as well. So hopping in, and we mentioned Carmel Valley is kind of halfway. It's got 1 foot into North County, San Diego. But if you're exploring Del Mar, Carmel Valley, that whole area down to the south here, Pacific Highlands Ranch, there's a nice little area that you got to check out, and it's right off Del Mar Heights Road. And there's actually 2 spots right here. So on this side right here, you have one Paseo, a nice higher end kind of outside mall, if you will. You have some places to eat, you have some places to shop, and it's just real nice. It's cool, it's new. A lot of it's outside, so you get to experience all of that San Diego living. And then right across the street, you have Del Mar Highlands Town Center. So over here is Skydeck. It's a new area where there's probably about a dozen restaurants inside here. They do have all kinds of different places. They have a big open bar in the middle. They do have a beer spot up the top, and then a bunch of different places to eat. There's a Sinopolis over here. You have a bunch of different places for food as well. And it's just a good central spot. If you are looking in here, good to check out. Plenty of options. From here, I'm going to send you to the north. So if you're exploring San Marcos, maybe it's San Alejo Hills, maybe it's Lake San Marcos, any of these surrounding areas, Elfin Forest, you're gonna want to go where this little pin is right here. This is Double Peak Park, and you can find some trails. You can take some trails up to it, or you can just drive up all the way up. There's a little parking lot at the top, but this is gonna give you a great vantage spot through all of North County, San Diego, where on a nice day, you can see everything from up here. To the north, you're looking at Oceanside. As you go south, you have Carlsbad. You can look down into right here, which is San Alejo Hills, which is a neighborhood of San Marcos. You have Encinitas. You have, as you're going even further, you look down on a clear day, you can see down into La Jolla. See the islands off of the coast there. And looking south, or looking to the east rather, Escondidos, plus a bunch of other spots. So anyways, it's a good spot. Beautiful views up there. We filmed up there a bunch, but like I said, nice, easy parking lot. If you're exploring these areas, you just need a break. There's bathrooms up there, so it's nice and easy. Going from here, you are exploring Oceanside. And maybe it's coastal Oceanside, maybe it's South O, maybe it's inland Oceanside, and you just want to see the vibe down there. You want to see what it's all about. You've seen our videos and checking out like, hey, Encinitas or Oceanside is going to blow up because here is what's going on. Because you want to check out Oceanside, you just heard that there's a bunch of stuff going on there, and there truly is. So even if you are looking Ivy Ranch, Rancho del Oro, or you're looking out at Arrowwood, or you're looking at any of the spots, Loma Alta, Fire Mountain in Oceanside, you could definitely head down to kind of where you see the pier here. There's actually a fire at the end of the pier, but I believe it's open at least partially now. And this is downtown Oceanside, where you'll find a lot of places to eat and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to send you down here right next to Green Cheek Beer Company, formerly Bagby, but still making some great beer over there. Go over where it says Communal Coffee. This is the Tremont Collective right here, where you have coffee spot right here. You do have a bottle craft. Let's go down to the street view. Cool little coffee shop. Go get the vibe there. Right next door, you have bottle craft. Inside there, they have Shoots, which is a little fish taco spot. Brixton, which is a clothing company here. You'll see more of these little collectives popping up around San Diego here. And this is just a cool one to check out as well. And from there, like I said, you can explore a lot of the different coastal areas. If you go to the north, you can go check out kind of that pier area and all that kind of stuff. But all throughout this area of Oceanside, you're going to find a lot of stuff going on. Next stop from here, if you're exploring Carlsbad, and it could be really any area of Carlsbad, but you could go to Lake Calavera right over here. So easy parking. This is more of a hike, where Double Peak is just park and you can go right to the top there. This is more of a hike. If you want to get out, explore, enjoy some outside time right here. It's really not that hard of a hike. It's a nice little uphill. You can take a few different paths, but right up here is the Calavera community. That's northern Carlsbad. You can shoot down to Carlsbad Village from here pretty quickly. So if you want to go out in downtown Carlsbad, get some grub, go explore that area too. There's the Legolands right to the south here. So it's a good jumping off spot if you want to stretch your legs a little bit. And next up, if you are exploring Vista, certain parts of San Marcos, then you can head out to, let me find it in here. I'm going to bring it up on here. It is a beer spot. So an awesome beer spot right in the Sycamore corridor right here in North County, San Diego. Go explore it, have a beer, go check out the Shadow Ridge areas just to the north. Just to the south, you have a little bit of Carlsbad, Bresci Ranch. Just to the east, you have Lake San Marcos, a few other areas of Carlsbad, Santa Fe Hills, a little bit further away. But nonetheless, it's a good spot. Grab a good beer. They have some murky IPAs, and it'll put you right in the heart of all those communities there. Now let's talk about schools a little bit. So most areas are going to have their own school districts, right? But some are going to have some overlap. So Oceanside, their own school district. Vista, their own school district. San Marcos, their own school district. Escondido, their own school district. Encinitas has its own school district. Solana Beach, it does jump into certain parts of Del Mar. Some of these areas down here, they might have their own elementary schools, but once you get into middle school and high school, it's usually going to feed into the San Diego school district. So Solana Beach, Encinitas, Rancho Santa Fe, Del Mar, parts of Carmel Valley. As you get down in this district, it's not like you're going to Rancho Santa Fe High School or Solana Beach High School. You're going to Torrey Pines, which is in the San Diego school district. Now, Poway has their own school district, but the Poway school district is pretty large and feeds a lot of different areas around there as well. So you don't necessarily have to live directly in Poway to go to the Poway school districts. Carlsbad as well. Most of it's Carlsbad, except for the southern portion of Carlsbad here. When you get into 3 different school districts, some feed into San Marcos School District, some feed into the Carlsbad School District, and some feed into the Encinitas School District. So there is some overlap. There is a little nuance here and there as to where the kids are going to school. But if you are focused on one school, you want to make sure you go to that school, just hit us up. We'll find the boundary lines for you, and you can just double check and make sure that the houses that we're looking at are within those boundary lines. And it's always good to double check. Just call the schools, make sure the houses we're looking at, the address is in that school district. You might see it online, but it's always good to double check as well. And if you are thinking about moving out here to San Diego, we are a real estate crew who helps a lot of relocation clients just like you make the move out here to San Diego. So feel free to call, text, or email. We'll hop on a Zoom call, get you dialed in, and make sure you got all your questions answered so you're dialed in and ready to move when you do decide to make the jump here to San Diego.